Welcome to lesson 5 of the step-by-step tutorial on building the demo mobile application. In this lesson we're going to add submit and reset buttons that will allow us to save any edits that we make to the current record back to the database so that the changes get persisted. So by the end of this lesson you'll be able to, for example, go here and edit this customer address record here, change this, for example, from 57 to 58. Click the submit button, and then this will then submit the data back to the server, update the SQL database, and then reflect any change that we make. And because we've currently got debugging turned on, you'll be able to click here and see what commands got executed on the server. So you can see the SQL update statement that got executed, and you'll also be able to see the JavaScript that got sent back from the server to the client to update the record. So these debugging options here are great learning aids to help you see what's going on. In a real application you would of course turn this off. So let's get started now with lesson 5. So if you still have the end of lesson 4 open on your screen, you can continue working there. If not, then let's go back to the web control panel. Make sure that you've got the lesson 5 project open, and you can open up lesson 5 start to get to the starting point, which is where we were at the end of lesson number 4. So when we run the lesson 5 start component over here, you can see that when we go over to working preview we can navigate through the records, but if we make any edits here there's no submit button to actually go ahead and submit the data. So let's go back to design mode and then give focus to the image control in the list of controls. And now we'd like to first go ahead now and add a submit and reset buttons. So we could go and add the buttons manually by going in the toolbox on the left hand side to other controls and then just selecting button, and then going ahead and configuring the event handler for the button. But it's much easier to just simply choose the predefined submit and cancel button. So in the list of predefined buttons over here, we'll go ahead and make sure that that predefined buttons section, or defined controls actually, is open, and then scroll down in the list until you see submit reset. So click on submit reset and you'll see that a dialog comes up, and the dialog is asking us here whether we would like to make the submit reset buttons go enabled when any control on the UX component is dirty, or only controls that are bound to a table. So we'd actually like to make sure that we choose the second option. So when a control that is bound to a table is dirty, then we'd like the buttons to become enabled. So let's click OK now, and let's explain a little bit more about what this means by actually running the component. So after you've placed these two controls on the UX Builder, click the working preview button, and you'll see your two buttons that have been added, submit and reset, but you'll see that the buttons are currently grayed out, which means they're not currently enabled. So clicking them won't actually do anything. But as soon as I make an edit, so for example if I go there and change that to 57, you'll see that the buttons are now enabled, and that's because a control that is bound to a table, which is this address field, has become dirty. So let's pause now and pick this up in the next video.